Much like a rabid black bear, the first Republican presidential debate is suddenly upon us. And there's one name that seems to be on the tip of everyone's tongues. Vivek Ramaswamy, the first-time political candidate who vaulted into second place in recent Iowa polling. Today on The Third Degree, we're going to take a deep dive into the Ramaswamy-verse, from his peculiar fundraising model to the out-there ideas that have attracted so many Republican voters. And trust me, Ramaswamy isn't your typical presidential grifter. This guy's a real pro. And Ramaswamy is the first to admit he doesn't actually know much about governing. In fact, Ramaswamy likes to think of his campaign as more of a culture war against the left than anything else.
And so that's why this presidential campaign for me is more of a cultural campaign than a political campaign, though it's taken the form
fighting
of a
the
political
woke
campaign.
message that we, people who don't succeed, are helpless victims, that America's a bad place because we killed people to get here, etc.
Exactly. I mean, that's part of it. Wokeness is a symptom, though, of that deeper national identity crisis. Right? Those symptoms keep showing up. Racial wokeism, transgenderism, climatism, this new and latest, most fabulous cult that's spreading across America.
Before we jump into that mess, let me just take a second and thank all of you again for an amazing week. Not only is The Third Degree about to hit 2,000 subscribers, but I've also been blown away by the response to the YouTube shorts I've been producing. I'm having so much fun making those, and I hope you find them really informative. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to help out. I'm never going to ask for your money, just your continued support by watching the video, sharing it on your social networks, and subscribing. It's a real joy to make these, and I can't thank you enough for watching. Anyway, on to our pal Vivek and the MAGA movement's magical thinking. Ramaswamy comes to politics from a background in hedge funds and investment banking, which is already a minefield's worth of red flags right there. Most recently, he co-founded Strive Asset Management, an investment firm that targets conservative investors by openly opposing ESG initiatives. Now, if you aren't familiar with those, that stands for Environmental, Social, and Corporate Governance. Major companies have been embracing ESG as a way to clean up their capitalism. Think oil companies investing in green energy, or the consulting firm Accenture funding a wide variety of social justice programs and diversity hiring initiatives. Conservatives hate that stuff. They think it's all a liberal plot to spread wokeness into the business world. And Ramaswamy has positioned himself in the Republican primary as the, quote, CEO of Anti-Woke Incorporated. Ramaswamy made his name for aggressively firing employees he felt didn't measure up. And he's not going to stop with just the private sector. Ramaswamy borrowed a line from Donald Trump with his stunning pledge to fire up to 75% of the federal workforce, what he calls mass layoffs of the so-called deep state.
The president runs the executive branch of the government. I do believe that I have a deeper understanding of how to actually shut down the administrative state and the parts of it that should not exist. Probably the best understanding that anybody's brought to that office in the last 30 years of anyone who's run. Because for what they do, I've fired underperformers in the private sector. I'm going to do it for probably 75% of the people who work as federal bureaucrats in the government in Washington, D.C. But it takes an outsider to do it, also an outsider who knows something about the laws and constitution of the country. That's also very important.
There's just one problem. Most of those people Ramaswamy wants to fire are veterans employed in the federal civil service. Half of DoD employees and a third of employees at the VA are vets. So good luck saying you support the troops when you're about to kick them all out of their jobs. And oh yeah, what Ramaswamy's proposing is actually illegal, because presidents by law can't fire civil service employees. If Ramaswamy wants to be president, he should probably read up on how the federal government actually works, because he clearly doesn't seem to have a clue. But remember, Vivek Ramaswamy isn't concerned about things like the law and governing. His campaign is meant to tap into the anger Republicans feel at the libs for stealing their country. And like all good grifts, Ramaswamy's incorporating a little multi-level marketing into the campaign too.
New program we're launching, where you help me raise the money, you get a unique link to do it. We'll have a special relationship. I'm going to keep giving you phone calls, telling you how I think you can be most effective for us. But the money you raise, you get to keep 10% of it.
It's all part of Ramaswamy's Vivek Kitchen Cabinet that he unveiled today. He's hoping to get a little attention and raise enough money from grassroots donors in the process.
Yeah, just get your friends to donate to Ramaswamy's campaign and you'll get a cut of those donations paid back to you. And then your friends refer their friends, and they refer their friends, and so on and so on. It's a real pyramid of profits. Wait, no. And in a surprise to literally nobody, the GOP's voters are more than happy to toss their cash into the Herbalife of presidential campaigns, because Ramaswamy has raised more than enough money to qualify for the debate stage. And he's not afraid to play up every single extreme idea that pops into MAGA voters' heads. Ramaswamy likes to use the old GOP line that we should run the government like a business. But unlike other Republicans who just stick to generalities, Ramaswamy is crystal clear what business he'd like to emulate. Elon Musk's Twitter. Yeah, for real.
Look, I think Elon is an excellent example of what he did at Twitter, is a good example of what I want to do to the administrative state. Take out 75% of the deadweight cost, improve the actual experience of what it's supposed to do. And at the same time, I love the way he released the Twitter files. I'll release the state action files. Anytime a bureaucrat has pressured a private company, let's publish it for the world to see. And he put an X through Twitter, I'll put a big X through the administrative state. So that's where I'm at on common tactics with Elon.
So let's follow that example through. If we did run the United States like Twitter, our country would lose more than half of its GDP in under a year, while engaging in mass layoffs that would amount to tens of millions of lost jobs in Ramaswamy's first term alone. Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't say these things because they make any sense. He's saying them because Republican voters increasingly view Twitter as their biggest safe space. And whatever you might say about Ramaswamy, he's definitely tapped into the well of resentment that drives modern Republican voters. But Republicans still face a pretty daunting challenge in the simple fact that most Americans really don't like the few policies they have. And it's awful hard to win an election when the vast majority of voters correctly think your policies will lead to disaster. Ramaswamy has a solution for that, too, and it's one that has even some Republicans gasping. Ramaswamy's answer isn't to change Republican policies to appeal more to voters, or to cut down on the crazy currently running the party. No, Vivek wants to raise the voting age to 25, effectively stripping the right to vote away from millions of young Americans age 18 to 24. Gee, I wonder why Republicans don't want those people voting.
One of your key campaign pillars is raising the voting age to 25 with a civics test or military service in order to maintain the age 18 voting age.
So my premise is this. Every young kid who graduates from high school should be able to pass the same civics test that every immigrant has to pass in order to become a citizen of this country.
Amen.
At the age of 18, let's attach civic duties to civic privileges.
Now let's be very clear. Voting is not a civic privilege. It is a constitutional right, one that generations of Americans fought and died for, and one that Vivek Ramaswamy thinks is negotiable. Half of young voters aged 18 to 29 went to the polls in 2020, an 11-point increase over 2016. That's one of the highest voter participation rates since the voting age became 18. And would you be surprised to know they didn't vote for Donald Trump? In an election cycle marked by shockingly anti-democratic proposals from the right, Ramaswamy's call to actually strip voting rights from young Americans should leave you furious. The GOP has given up on trying to appeal to democracy at all. Instead, they look for every possible way to undermine it. So let's recap. Vivek Ramaswamy's America is one in which most of our federally employed veterans are fired, and millions of Americans have lost their jobs in an effort to make the government look more like Twitter. Younger people no longer have the right to vote. And overseas, Ramaswamy is offering Russian strongman Vladimir Putin the chance to keep huge chunks of Ukrainian territory.
But you would let Putin have parts of
I
Ukraine.
would freeze the current lines. I would freeze the current lines of control, and that would leave parts of the Donbas region with Russia. I would also further make a commitment that NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO. But there are even greater wins that I will get for the United States in return. The top of the list. No, our goal should not be for Putin to lose. Our goal should be for America to win. That's what we have forgotten in this country.
Yeah, that's right. Ramaswamy says flatly that America shouldn't be rooting against Putin. They should be working with him to carve up Ukraine. It's tough to overstate just how damaging any one of Ramaswamy's policies would be for America and for the world. Taken together, they represent a dismantling of nearly a century of economic progress, while emboldening autocrats like Vladimir Putin. That's insane. And Republican voters love it. Ramaswamy's sudden rise has his Republican challengers worried, and none more so than Meatball Ron DeSantis, the guy Republicans once called the best chance to beat Donald Trump. And would you be shocked to know that DeSantis screwed up his plan of attack even before a single person set foot on the debate stage? Last week, DeSantis' debate strategy leaked to the press, and it turns out Ron's big priority isn't going after Donald Trump, it's attacking Ramaswamy.
I think we have a choice between super PAC puppets who are being propped up with prepped lines and millions of dollars to go along with it, versus, in my case, I'm an outsider. I think of myself as a patriot who speaks the truth.
Right now, Vivek Ramaswamy benefits from a surge in media coverage while avoiding any real media scrutiny. No mainstream media outlets have dug into Ramaswamy's past, his business operations, or his financial dealings. That gives Ramaswamy a free pass to create his own origin story. Snake oil salesmen like Ramaswamy are becoming the heart and soul of the new GOP, and they're fleecing donors while proposing policies that would devastate our country's fundamental democratic values, and he could well end up as Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee. Until the media starts seriously investigating Vivek Ramaswamy, he'll continue to surge in the polls and amplify his corrosive vision for America's future. But hey, who has time for all that investigative journalism? After all, it's just our country on the line.
The clock's run out, time's up, over, plow, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, oh, there goes gravity, choke, he's so mad.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Let me know what you found interesting and anything I might have missed. Remember to like and subscribe to the video because it really is your engagement that keeps this channel growing and amplifying our message out to the folks who need to hear it most. And as always, remember to leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.